Good evening, 49er faithful. Welcome to the live schedule release show going on right now. We have just seen the San Francisco 49ers schedule coming out. I am following it on Twitter. I want to give a shout out to Steph Sanchez, who has been posting all day as soon as the information has come out and been of a confirmed nature. Here is the schedule as it is currently in front of me, tweeted out by Steph Sanchez at Stragosaurus. I think that's it. All right, week 1 at Chicago. We knew that one coming in. And then week 2, fans are going to be cooking in Levi's against Seattle. It is a 1 p.m. game, week 2 of the NFL season in Levi's at 1 p.m. That's going to be cooking in the East Stands against the Seahawks. Then we go out to Denver in week 3, come back home for the Los Angeles Rams in week 4. Week 5, we head out to Carolina. Week 6, staying on the East Coast, hit Atlanta. Week 7, coming back home for the matchup against Kansas City, the Chiefs in Levi's. Week 8, heading down to SoFi. We are headed down to Levi's South in week 8 against the Los Angeles Rams. Then we actually have the bye in week 9. I thought that bye was going to come after the game in Mexico in week 11. It doesn't. Week 9 bye straight up in the middle of the season. Have to love that. Week 10 is then at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. Week 11 going down to Arizona in Mexico. Going down to play Arizona in Mexico City. Week 12 at home against New Orleans. Week 13 at home against Miami. Week 14 at home against Tampa Bay. Got those back-to-back Florida teams coming out to Levi's. Week 15 up in Seattle. You know I'll be at that game because it's driving distance from Portland, Oregon, where I hail. And week 16 versus the Washington Commanders. Week 17 versus Las Vegas. That should be at Las Vegas. And week 18 versus Arizona. I hope I got all of those correct. I'm sure you will let me know in the comments. That is a phenomenal release of the schedule. Very excited for a lot of those games. The focus of this call-in show, again, as always, this is the Sneakerhead call-in show. If you are a member of the channel, you can call in on video, on audio, whichever of the two you prefer. And you're coming on, we're talking what you want to talk about. Now, today is a little unique in that it is the schedule release. So I believe unless you feel very passionately about some other topic, we want to be focused on the schedule release. That is what is on everyone's mind. That is what we want to talk about. I love the enthusiasm already happening there in the chat. Again, if you want to contribute to the dialogue, do me a favor and hit me with at Rob or at Rob Schuh, just so that I know you're talking to me and we can bring you into the conversation when you have a specific comment about a stretch of the schedule that you think is easy or a stretch of the schedule that you think is difficult or a particular game that you have your eye on. I want to know. So hit it up in the chat. We'll bring you in as I'm going through the Sneakerheads. We will get your comment onto the screen as well, and it can direct the conversation. Let's first and foremost bring in, with no further ado, our first caller. Again, before I do, the link is already here in the chat. I will put it in again. The link here to get backstage on StreamYard. Ooh, I put it in the chat already, but that opens it up for everybody to do it. I need to do the link to the community tab. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that I already put that link in there. For those of you here right now, you can scroll back up and find that link. That link is already there. So I'm going to put the link to the community tab on my YouTube channel. You go there, you find the link. You're supposed to be a sneakerhead in order to call in so that I can put you on video without worrying about it. I'm not worried about anybody I'm seeing in the waiting room right now. All right, so I'm putting in the link. That will take you to the community tab of my YouTube page, wherein if you're not subscribed, you can subscribe there. And that's where you're going to find the link if you are a sneakerhead. All right, we are bringing in Korean 49er to the stream. Korean 49er, what are you thinking of this schedule release news?
It's always good to see when the games are scheduled instead of
very
talking about
so.
the lackluster offseason we were having so far. But that's we'll leave that one.
Take your mind off of that.
Yeah. So
that's good. So the first game is Chicago, man. I'm going to be out there in Chicago. We got to see about linking up, getting some deep dish pizza, my man. That's what I'm going to be craving when I'm there in week 1. Got to check off going to Chicago. I'm glad it's not going to be a winter game. I really didn't want to see Chicago in the winter again after what I felt going out there in January to Wisconsin.
Chicago has it worse because they're on the lake, right next to the lake. So
yes, that
you would
wind.
definitely, yeah. And those, remember if you ever see the '85 Bears playoff videos that you could all see those everyone's breath, and it's just be cold, and it's like horribly miserable just to be out there in that weather unnecessarily if you don't have to be.
Yes, I layered up to walk to dinner. Like I made the mistake of thinking, oh, dinner's only like a mile and a half away. So I just threw on an extra layer, got myself a scarf. Those layers did not matter. The cold cut right through my clothing, and I was like, this was a mistake. I mean, I got where I was going. I didn't lose any fingers. I didn't lose any toes, but I was cold. I was shivering as I was headed out, and I thought I was freaking prepared. I had just spent the night before in Wisconsin in 0-degree weather, sitting in Lambeau, but I was colder in Chicago with that wind cutting through me.
Yeah, that's one of the things that people have to worry about when they go to Chicago in the winter. It's not the most desirable place to be.
It is not. It is not. No. I got to bring in RT right here saying November 6th is my birthday and they have a bye. This sucks. RT, that's good news. Now on your birthday, you can do whatever the hell you want and you don't have to plan it around a Niners game. You get a free day to go on a vacation, to go out to eat, to go party, whatever it is you want to do and not miss a Niner game. It was their birthday present to you. It's all about flipping the coin over, looking at it from the positive side. I'm very excited. I'm very excited as Jerome M. Sneakerhead here on the channel is Vegas New Year's Day, baby. I'm there. Jerome, that makes 2 of us. It's going to be an expensive weekend. Staying in Vegas for New Year's is not cheap, but it's also pretty freaking exciting. I mean, people go a little crazy in Vegas around the holidays.
Just don't do anything that you regret, Rob. That's all you got to remember.
The good news is at being my age, I've already done most of those things that you would regret, and I tend not to carry any regrets with me. Life is too short for regret.
Completely understandable. So as the Bears game gets closer, to me, I think the Bears are still a flaming train wreck because they still need a lot more pieces around Justin Fields, and I don't believe they've helped them get more weapons for him and to build around, for him to develop and build around. So I think they'll still be another struggling year. I think they're going to go back to a 4-3 because the current head coach was a coordinator at Indy, and I believe they ran a 4-3. So they're going to be trying to adjust with their personnel. So I think there's a chance to at least get the first win. Second game against Seattle is a different story since Seattle has always gotten their number, and we can't.
Now, do you think the loss of Russell Wilson is going to change that? Are the 49ers going to be able to sweep the Seahawks as you would think they would need to in order to get into the playoffs this year, given the difficulty of the rest of the schedule? You have to capitalize on the easier games. Can the Niners get the monkey off their back and beat Seattle twice?
I can see at least once. I don't know about twice. At least just worry about getting that first one and then take your chances with the second one.
Yeah, knock them out in Levi's to make sure that you get that home game.
Yes. And also, the week 3 against Denver is never going to be easy just because the boogeyman's still there and you can still get us.
Yes. Absolutely cannot discount Russell Wilson. He is capable of beating the 49ers. I mean, it would seem, historically speaking, he has been capable of beating the San Francisco 49ers. All right, I'm going to try. I'm attempting to bring in the graphic that should allow us to both talk about this and get into and be able to look at it as well. So I'm going to do that. Now, what other stretches of the schedule are you looking forward to most? Are there any games that you had in mind before this schedule release came out?
I was wondering when they were going to play in that Mexico City game. Just because if it was after the Denver game, at least you could say you kind of have experience in altitude, but Mexico City is another 2,100 feet higher in the air, so they better get used to that real quick. Or at least
Yes.
find a way to compensate for thinner air.
Yeah,
So
you would have liked to have had those a little bit closer together. That's for sure.
yes, and I don't know about how Denver's going to be as a team because I believe Jerry Jeudy just got arrested for whatever he got arrested for, and
He did. That is not good news for the Denver Broncos. That's a shame. Innocent until proven guilty, no question. But the charges didn't look good.
yep.
Didn't look
So
good.
never know. Hopefully, just get the first win against the Bears, and find a way against Seattle, and let's get to a 2-0 start, and then we can see how that all goes from there.
Right. If they can get to that 2-0 start, I mean, you have to feel pretty good at that point, right? I mean, you jump out to 2-0 and people start dreaming about a phenomenal season. The NFL is such a small sample size that the world feels as if it's caving in on you if you start off 0-2. But if you start out 2-0, there's going to be some bright faces at Levi's. There's going to be some bright 49er faithful excited about the possibilities.
Yes. So let's just get the first win, and I'll recommend a place where we can meet up. We need to get like a third person for deep dish if we're going to split a large, because 2 to 3 slices is usually enough to make you full for most of the day.
Right.
With the rock in your stomach.
Yes. Yes, it would. Man, I cannot get this thing to cooperate. I'm trying to get it on there. All right, what other games are you excited about? I saw someone in the chat throwing in a good one about the 49ers finally getting to host the Saints at Levi's. Can you recall a time where the Saints have come to Levi's, or is this going to be the first time? Was the last time they played the Saints at home in 2011 in the playoffs? 2012.
That was the last time I believe that was the last time I can remember them playing in the Bay Area. Was that playoff game? I don't recall any other games since then. I'll have to look at. I don't recall off the top of my head what the schedules have been since then. So
I think that might be the case. I think we actually might be hosting them for the first time.
Yeah, so I want to see. I don't know. Are they playing any rookie quarterbacks against any rookie quarterbacks?
They are. Let's see who has a rookie quarterback on that schedule. Bears no,
Carolina.
Seattle no.
Carolina,
week 5, October 9th.
Maybe Atlanta.
Yes, could be. I am very close to being able to get this thing up. I apologize for the technical delay. People waiting to see that schedule, but I think I have just managed to export as a PDF while talking. I mean, it takes real talent to be doing two things at once, Ekim. I'm sure that people are impressed at my ability to get it going here.
Gotta do what you gotta do, Rob. I can't.
Gotta do what you gotta do. All right, hold on. Here we go. Oh, of course it did. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? All right, let me work on getting that thing fixed. Okay, any other thoughts about the schedule?
No, I'm just happy to talk about something outside of the off season. So,
ooh, look at this. Grant has now, in looking at the schedule, done a quick run through to suss out the 49ers record, and he's got us at 9-8. You have to think 9-8 would have the 49ers missing the playoffs, wouldn't you?
I think it'd be close. I'm a tad more optimistic. I'm thinking 10-7.
I like that. 10-7. I am, you know me, I am optimistic, and therefore I'm going 11-6. And I haven't even gone back through to look at it from that perspective. That was my initial off of the cuff prediction, was 11-6. But now I need to go back through and actually say it. So once I get this freaking slide up here, I got it turned around. Now we got to upload it again, see if the computer actually cooperates. There it is. Okay. For the rest of the way, we've got the schedule up. That's fantastic. Okay. We got those waiting down below. We will try to come back around. Got to get to everybody. Korean 49er, phenomenal call. Always appreciate interacting. Always appreciate your contributions. And I look forward to seeing you in Chicago, good sir.
I'll send some suggestions a few weeks away from the Chicago when the Chicago game is going to happen. So I'll
That
send you
is
some suggestions.
fantastic. I look forward to it. All right, Korean 49er, enjoy the remainder of your evening. We will be going for the next hour. I'm loving it. Take care, my
Thank
brother.
you, Rob. Thank you, Rob.
Later. All right, we are going to bring in Swan Song to the stream. Let me get to a couple of comments that are directed at me. Jerome M. Sneakerhead here on the channel at Rob. Niners should come train here in Santa Fe, New Mexico for the Mexico and Denver game. We are at 7,000 feet. I'm always impressed by New Mexico. I hadn't been there until, I don't know, about 13 years ago. And now I've had the opportunity to be there many, many times. And it's a beautiful place. It is such a diverse landscape. You think of it as desert, but it is high desert in many places, and even, some mountain towns. Caught me off guard when I saw snow there. Jason, PDSI, coming in at Rob. I'm looking forward to the chance to kick Mahomes' teeth down his throat in a meaningful game. The first one in the last 2 years. Tell me about it. That revenge game is going to be sweet. All right, we're bringing Swan Song into the program. Swan Song, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Rob.
Nice. All right, I had to blow this up on my own screen. So for a moment, I'm not going to be able to get to the comments because I want to be able to actually see the graphic myself. But let's walk through this, Swan. Let's go through one by one and agree on a win or a loss. If we find different directions, we'll have a quick debate and then decide on it. I have to say, week one, we're going into Chicago. It feels like that has to be a win. If we lose week one, it'll be disheartening. Setting up
That's
on
a
paper.
W. We have Shanahan preparing against Chicago the whole time. They're a new everything, right? New coach, new receivers,
right?
No Khalil Mack. Come on, that should be 2 wins.
Chalk it up. Chalk it up. It's almost a trap game. It is almost the level of a trap game, but you can't have a trap game first game of the season.
Week one. Not for week one. There's no way.
You can't get caught off guard week freaking one. If you got caught off guard week one, you snooze through the freaking preseason.
Right. They're not going to be caught off guard because Trey Lance is going to be the QB, so everyone's going to be on high alert anyways.
All right. So week one's a dub. Week one's a dub. Lock it in. Week two, Seattle at home. Levi's, no Russell Wilson. W. I gotta believe that's a win as well.
That's a W. I put them as a sweep of Seattle. I don't care. I don't care what their record is against us.
I'll tell you what. What happens in the season is going to matter to me. But a sweep of Seattle, that's a minor win, no matter what else happens in 2022.
Yeah. Pencil it in.
Yeah. All right. So we got Seattle. We're at 2-0. Now we travel to the Kryptonite. Is it Russell Wilson or is it Pete Carroll? We just beat Pete Carroll in week 2. We're headed out to Russell Wilson. Sorry, this one's going to be at home, I think, right? No, that is
at Denver.
That is away. That is at Denver. Okay. Yes. So the Gold is away.
Looking at the schedule, I can honestly say that the Niners have the opportunity to win every one of these games. None of these games really scare me. Not even KC scares me that bad, or Tampa. But of course, real life doesn't work that way. You end up losing games. So I'm gonna give an L at Denver.
Yep. Me too. I think I have to go L on that one until I see us handle Russell Wilson in the new setting. I just have to believe that one's more of a toss-up, and so I'm going to go L there. Coming back home against LA, this is going to be the revenge game. This is going to be the game where the 49ers take out the aggression that they are holding over from that emotional loss. Debo is going to truck some people. He is going to take that emotion that he felt crying on the bench after the NFC Championship game, and he is going to pour that onto the field. I'm taking the W here.
I like the W. I also like that, they do have a new weapon. What's his name? Oh, the guy from the Bears, the wide receiver from the Bears.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, so at week 4, there's still not that much chemistry there with him and Stafford, right?
Not as much as there will be at that later game in the season.
And then they're still figuring out their line. I mean, we're still figuring out our line, but they're losing their left tackle. Hopefully we have Mac left. So I think there's more question marks with them than the Niners, in my opinion.
I think that is fair. I believe they lost a lot of talent in this offseason. They did add A-Rob, and I'm a huge fan. I think he's going to have a resurgent season, but I agree, better to catch him early here. I'm glad that both of those games come week 8 or sooner. All right, so we're at 3-1 here. Now we're headed out to play Carolina. I mean, that sets up, again, it's an East Coast trip. That's tough. It's an early start, but it sets up to be a winnable game.
That is
and
a
it looks
winnable
like a 1
game.
o'clock start.
Like,
it
yeah,
is
these
a
are the
1 o'clock
games.
start.
Yeah, these are the games that we need to win. You know, so what do they have? Like, they don't even know what they have at quarterback, right? I know that there's a bunch of pieces. Like, Carolina has a lot of talent, but they're kind of like borderline dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We should get a W there, right? And
I love so. 4-1.
Yep, and I love the fact that
we're staying back east. They're going to stay in Youngstown, Ohio, or somewhere back east.
Yeah, and this is another case of a new coach again, right?
Right.
Atlanta has a new coach, a new quarterback.
Marcus Mariota.
Week 6, I don't see them being like totally in tune at that point, right?
No.
So it's like, that's another W.
5-1 to start the freaking season. And I don't think we're being crazy here. Could it be 4-2? It could be 4-2, sure.
Yeah,
but it feels like 5-1.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be 6-0 as well, right? So and what I like about week 5 and 6 being at Carolina, Atlanta, the rest after Atlanta, the longest flight that the 49ers have to take on an away game besides Mexico is 1 hour. Every flight they have is a 1 hour flight.
Vegas, Seattle, and LA.
Yeah.
Those are easy flights out of San Jose.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're at 5-1 here, and then we come home to KC. That's tough.
Yeah, God. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Normally in my pre-pick, I just had us losing all these games against favorites, but I'm taking the W here, and I'll put an upset later.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm putting a W here. We're gonna get our revenge. This is on our turf. We're gonna kick their ass.
I want to believe that, but because we're sitting at 5-1 already, I feel like at some point there's going to be that unexpected loss. And coming back off of a 2-week East Coast trip, the 49ers have been historically a bit down the next week. They've lost to some subpar teams. Some of those you could say they just weren't ready for their opponent because it looked like an easy opponent. You would believe that they would get up for this KC game, so it wouldn't be an issue, but you can't fight the body. If the body is tired from that East Coast travel, they come home, tough opponent. I'm going to say a loss here. Are you comfortable with being at 5-2, acknowledging that those 2 losses could come, from any one of the 3 games, KC, Denver, and LA, where we were close on it?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm
5-2. Now we got LA and LA.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
LA and LA. So I don't expect to sweep the Rams, right?
I don't either.
I'll give them this W, even though
LA
is going to be still 49ersville there.
So we're 5-3. So if we start 5-1 and we do end up dropping 2 in a row and falling to 5-3, there's going to be some turmoil amongst the faithful. And that is going to, cause a little bit of drama. I'm going to start to have a little bit of doubt myself. How do you feel? I'm going to do the right thing and allow for Chris Royal to help me with the second half of the schedule. But let's break down the first half, Swan. We just got to 5-3, but we hit potentially a 2-game slide. How are you going to be feeling at that point?
I'll feel fine. It depends on how we lose those games, but we'll have a bye week. Most likely the Chargers won't, so we'll have an advantage there. I think it's a good point to recoup and do all those things, and then it'll be like a must-win game. Not a must-win game, but you know what I mean, a game that they really want to have. So they're going to be fired up. And there's going to be more 49er. Well, actually, it's at home. So obviously it's gonna be more 49er fans. But yeah, I think I'm not worried. I'm at 5-2 with the bye week. I'm not worried.
5-3. 5-3
Yeah,
at the bye
5-3.
week. 8 games in. I love having the bye halfway through. That's phenomenal. Chris Royal coming in with the super chat. Grant smoking the good. 11-6 is what I'm comfortable saying. Chris, you're gonna help me get to that 11-6 because we're sitting at 5-3 at the bye and not a whole lot of a travel coming after that. I feel like that 11-6 is very attainable sitting at 5-3. Very, very exciting. Swan, what's your favorite game on this schedule? When you look at this, when you say to yourself, all right, here we are, what's your favorite game?
Okay, so of course it's easy to say pick up all the big teams, right? But I think the one I'm going to obviously look forward to is week 1, right? Because we finally get it. We finally get what we want. We've been waiting for. So you know what I mean? So it's like we're going to be so jazzed for that game, right?
Give me Trey Lance.
Yeah. But then of course, you know, KC is going to be a crazy game. We get to play the second best quarterback in NFL history, week 14.
My man, you know the best one sitting right back there. Yep. All right, so let me tell you my favorite. I think just at a glance, I got to digest this. I'm a slow processor, quick thinker, slow processor. I really enjoy the simple fact that I'm going to spend New Year's in Las Vegas. I really love the idea that there's going to be a bunch of hungover fans watching the 49ers take on the Raiders on New Year's Day in Las Vegas. That's going to be a spectacular weekend.
It's going to be great. So when I saw this, I was planning to go to this game, right? And I saw that when I saw New Year's, I was thinking New Year's Eve. I'm like, what? The NFL wants someone to die? Like, do they want someone to die New Year's Eve? But then when I saw that it was New Year's, I'm like, okay, that's not so bad because all the crazy guys will probably be hungover. Right?
Yes.
All the crazy dudes are probably hungover. So it should be tame. I expect to stay that night. Like I'm not driving home on January 1st. There's no way. Because I've been to Vegas on New Year's weekend when I was younger. It takes about 8 hours to drive from Vegas to Southern California, to LA, to Orange County. It is insane. It is like a parking lot. Yeah.
It's glorious. All right, Jaguayo 56, Sneakerhead here on the channel coming in at Rob. Go 4-2 in the division. Go 2-2 versus the AFC West. Beat top 2 teams in the NFC, Bucks, Bears. Beat Bucks, Bears, top teams in the NFC. Beat the Finns, Falcons. That would put us at 10-7. Enough for the playoffs. I do think 10-7 potentially get you in the playoffs again. 10-7 feels like the magic number where at a bare minimum, you're there in the tiebreaker scenario.
So check this out, Rob. I just noticed something. From week 10 to week 18, it will be a 49er friendly field advantage, with the crowd advantage other than Seattle.
That's true. Home game in Mexico, gonna be 49er faithful there. Home game at Seattle. That's tough, but I will be there making the noise. So my noise alone will help to offset it at home in Las Vegas, where it is going to feel like a home game, and then at home against yes.
It's going to be great. It's going to be like red, a sea of red, except for week 15. That's it.
I'm really enjoying myself here. I am really.
Hey, and there's a low-key chance how Seattle fans are fair-weathered fans. They could be freaking 4 and whatever at this point. Like I have a crazy losing record, and they might not show up, and it might be a sea of red there as well.
It's crazy.
You never know.
Crazy. Yes, they could. I mean, quite honestly, that game, the fans were ready to pack it in last year. If it were not for that damn punt return that brought the stadium to life, the people, the Seahawks fans, the 12s next to me at the game were already talking about, well, here we go again. You could sense it. They were just fed up with that season, and we're ready to pack in that game and sort of admit that, well, of course we lost. It's an off year for us, sort of save pride in that way of admitting defeat.
Now they don't have Wagner. They don't have Russell. So there's 2 big stars that the fans are going to be like, oh, they could be mailing it in week 10. You know what I mean? You don't even know.
This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. Eric Schultz, Seattle will suck.
Yeah.
I like it. Hey, anytime we can pick on the Seahawks, let's do it. Swan Song, thank you for helping me go through the first half of the schedule together. I really enjoyed that.
Always a pleasure, Rob.
Always. You take care. You take care, good sir.
See you
later. All right, we are going to bring in Chris Royal to the chat here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything going on in the chat there. Here we go. Carlos coming in at Rob. All is about Trey Lance. In week 3 with 3 wins, the 49er defense and offense just start to see further. All right, I'm with you in the first half of that, 1,000%. It is all about Trey Lance. And what a freaking amazing feat that would be to give him the confidence of coming in early and getting those wins. Kim, Rob, I tried to be more optimistic today. I could feel it. There's a fresh optimism about this season. And Kim, I'm guessing it's because of the change from Jimmy to Trey Lance. We just need to make sure that change actually occurs. Come on, 49ers. Come on. All right, we are bringing Chris into the stream. Chris, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I am doing a hell of a lot better after looking at this schedule, which admittedly I thought was going to be very, very tough and still is. I may be getting ahead of myself. I may be a little too jazzed. I may be a little too optimistic here, but you know me. That's just how I roll. I get fired up. I get on a little bit of a ride, a little bit of a high, and I ride it. So here we are. We're at 5-3 at the frickin' break. We have made it to the bye. We're at 5-3. I feel good about that prediction because some of those 3 that Swan and I had them lose, I think it's possible the Niners win. I think 6-2 at the bye is possible. 5-3 more likely. First question, how do you feel about our prediction of sitting at 5-3 in the bye at week 9?
I feel like that'd be pretty good. I really had it at 5-2 or 6-2.
Yes.
Because
looking at it, I could easily see that.
I thought we'd split with Los Angeles in that, those 2 games.
Right.
I thought maybe we'd lose to Denver and then lose to Kansas City.
Yes.
But all the other games are super winnable. I mean,
yes, they are. I'm fired up about this. All right. So for those of you that are just joining, here we are. We've gone through the schedule so far. We've gotten fans' opinions. We have gotten the Sneakerhead crew involved here. Now, Chris is going to help me get past this bye and figure out the win-loss record for the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be pretty close to an official prediction. We've gotten to 5-3 at the bye. The games that we had the 49ers dropping, that was Swan Song and I going through the first 8 games. We had them dropping the game to Denver. We had them dropping the game to KC, coming off a 2-game trip on the East Coast. The Niners have struggled. They've won the East Coast games. They've struggled when they get home from those trips. And then they have the Rams. We had them picking up the first game against the Rams. We gave the Rams the benefit of the doubt at home, Levi's South. And so we're sitting here at 5-3. Now we take on the Chargers. So we have them at home. The Chargers don't have a hell of a fan base there in LA anyway. It's a damn shame. But we have them at home, week 10. This is a primetime game. How you feeling about our chances against Justin Herbert?
I think we potentially have a chance to lose this game. But I think so too. It's a coin flip, in my opinion. I mean,
it is.
Just flip a coin and
here's why I'm going to make the case for the 49ers winning it, because of the way in which we have the schedule breaking out so far. The prediction made by Swan Song and I had to sway Swan Song in week 7. He thought we were going to take KC. I admit that's a very real possibility, a revenge game. But if we drop week 7 and 8 and we head into the bye at week 9, is that going to sow seeds of doubt into the team? I don't think so. I think it is going to infuriate them. I think it is going to fire them up. Shanahan has an additional week to game plan for that one. I believe that the pressure of losing 2 in a row, as predicted, followed by a bye to get their fresh legs back halfway through the season, I think they come out and beat the Chargers in week 10.
Yeah, I think that's pretty Fair. Going into those two games that you guys had them dropping with KC and Los Angeles, I think we're going to handle the Panthers and the Falcons pretty extensively. So, there won't be too much bleed off with those two losses. I don't think it's going to cause any kind of, rupture in the locker room or anything.
Right. The other wins, if they are robust wins, as you're describing there against the Panthers and the Falcons, will give the fan base confidence, will give the locker room confidence. So we're past the halfway point now. We're at that odd game. We've got to 6-3. Niners beating the Chargers. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. If you're watching right now and you enjoy it, hit the freaking like button for me, because we like what's going on here at 6-3 in week 10. Now we come back to play in Mexico. Should feel like a home game. Should be, red everywhere in the stands, because both fan bases will be wearing red. But I do believe within the confines of Mexico City, you're going to have a hell of a lot more 49er faithful than you will Arizona Cardinals fans. So that's going to feel like a home game. I feel pretty freaking good about that one.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it too. I did have it as them losing this game because it is a little bit closer to Arizona, a little bit less travel for them. So I think it'll basically come down to who's the more well-rested team at that point.
I could deal with that. Let me look at the remainder. Okay, so you think it comes down to who's the more rested team at that point? It is a bit more travel for the San Francisco 49ers. This is week 11, so has Arizona begun their colossal downfall yet? You know it's going to come at some point late in the season for them. They can't keep the wheels on the freaking bus. But week 11 still feels like they could be riding that high. I'm going to default to you. I don't want to be overly optimistic here. I'm going to default to you and say, okay, we dropped that one. It's going to sting. It's going to sting, but it takes us to 6-4.
And I'm operating under the assumption that Kyler Murray and everybody smooths everything over in Arizona. So
yes,
if there is a big downfall, within that first, quarter of the season, we could easily beat them because they're just going to have a lot of turmoil going on. But I'm operating under the assumption that everything's going to be okay.
I love it. I also love Tom Bragg's optimism in the chat. 6-2 at the bye. He's got 8-1 after the bye. I don't know how he got from 6-2 to 8-1, but I love that math. Anything that ends up with the 49ers getting rid of one of those freaking losses, I'm in for it. Rick Muniz coming in 10-7, a chip in a chair. That's all you need. That is all you need. I'm fired up about it. Peter Lee, 5 primetime games in total, 2 Sunday nights, 2 Monday nights, 1 Thursday night. Absolutely love to see the Niners in prime time. JT Conlon was saying, hey, I love what's going on here. And he's pissed that there isn't a love button instead of the like button. I'm sure the fan base is going to go wild with that phrasing for sure. Carlos coming in. Rob, after the bye depends on how the Raiders, Cardinals, and Tampa will be with playoff runs. That's a very succinct way to put it. Those are going to be tough teams. All right, so if we have them dropping to 6-4 against Arizona, what do you think about that game coming back home against the Saints? The Saints are a little bit unsettled in how they will look this year. You think the Niners can take that home game?
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty comfortable about that one.
I am less comfortable about it, but I was more comfortable about the Arizona game. So between the two, I feel comfortable saying that the 49ers lose 1. We had them losing to Arizona. Therefore, I'm taking the win here against New Orleans, as you suggest.
Okay.
Now we're sitting at 7-4 through 11 games. I'm going to feel really good if the Niners are sitting at 7-4. But that brings on Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel for the revenge game coming in week 12. I got to say, I feel like Mike may have our number in this one. I think Mike is going to be coming in swinging.
So I think he's going to have his offense dialed in by this point.
I do too.
It just comes down to how good our defense is going to be.
Right. All right. I'm saying that this could be an L. I think that Mike McDaniel coming in, he's going to be fired up. He's going to have some tricks up his sleeve, and he's going to be able to get the one up on his mentor. The protege will outdo the mentor in this one.
Okay.
7-5, Tampa at home. It's hard not to predict an L here. Tom Brady coming in, although he hasn't gotten very many dubs against the Niners, has he? Right? I feel like we've done well against Brady historically.
Yeah, especially when we have like a top 5 defense, he's struggled quite mightily with it.
Yeah. All right, so we're at 7-5. Do we win one or do we drop one against Brady and the Bucks?
I had him losing this game, but I could be swayed either way because just, I think we're the overall better team.
I also thought they would lose this one, and therefore I'm comfortable saying that the Niners drop this one. That'll be painful. That'll be another 2-game slide. That'll take us to 7-6, and the roar will be back. The same roar that we heard when the Niners dropped 2 in a row, week 7 and 8, heading into that bye. Oh, God, that'd be a long week off if we drop 2 in a row heading into a freaking bye. That'll be a nightmare. That'll be a nightmare. But here we are again, a potential 2-game slide. Potential. But that leaves us at 7-6. And then we have a 4-game stretch of Seattle, Washington, the freaking Raiders, and Arizona. When I look at Seattle again, I think we sweep Seattle this year. I think that's a win. I think we climb to 8-6 there, feeling a little bit better.
I do too. I had them winning and sweeping the Seahawks this year.
Washington Commanders, dub. Yep. Carson Wentz, he beat us last year. He's not beating us this year. I'm thinking that takes us up to 9-6.
Yep, I agree.
Las Vegas, that's tough, but I'm going to be there. I don't have the ultimate faith in David Carr. I like him as a quarterback. I don't love him as a quarterback. I think the Niners can get on a roll here. I think the Niners can win that 3rd in a row. I believe they can get to 10-6 on this one.
Yeah, I believe they're the weakest team in their division, so I think it'd be a pretty easy win for us.
Home game in Vegas. You know the faithful are going to travel well. They're going to be hungover, but they're going to be traveling well. And then you have the actual home game against Arizona to end it all. Do we end up 10-7? Do we end up 11-6? Right now, we're 10-6 on the frickin' predictions, and people love it. Look at this. Elvis is in the building. Sweeping Seattle is a must. Yes, it is. All right, last one, and then we got to go down to we got Sean 951 Niners waiting for the next call. What's your prediction against the final game against Arizona at home?
I have us winning this game, but if we're 10-6 and we've already secured a playoff spot, we could rest people, which could give them the advantage to win.
That's a fair point. Very fair point. Let me bring in another super chat I missed, and I apologize. Big Bad Brad in the house. First time we won't see Russell Wilson at Levi's. Hallelujah. That is music to my ears.
I'm okay with that.
Music. Isn't that fantastic? No Russell Wilson coming into Levi's. No Russell Wilson coming into Levi's. And I also love that our predictions so far are looked at as very conservative. And we have the Niners on the cusp of, if they're playing their players 11-6, if they need to rest them 10-7, or if they get to rest them. I'm going to say that they are still in the hunt for playoff seeding at a minimum, so they have to play their starters. If that's the case, you going with me that this is a dub for the Niners?
Yeah, and can I say, I think personally, I think the NFL dropped the ball by not making one of our last games the Rams, because it would have. I mean,
agree.
It just seems weird. It seems weird.
Strange placement for both of those games.
Yes.
Week 4, week 8, pretty arbitrary. I don't understand the placement of a premier matchup, rematch of the NFC Championship game. It doesn't make total sense to me. You and I are in lockstep on that one. I expected there to be a last game of the season, a first game of the season, something like that would end up being the case. But no, it is not. Yeah, it's just week 4, week 8.
Little head scratcher, but
head scratcher. Chris, thank you so much for helping me walk through the second half of the schedule, my friend.
I appreciate it, Rob.
Great to see you, sir. All right. bringing in Sean 951 Niners to the stream. For those that are just tuning in, we have now, with the Sneakerheads, gone through the entire 17-game schedule, all 18 weeks. We have the 49ers ending up at 11-6, and people listening thought we were being conservative. 11-6, conservative. I love it. Sean, were we being too conservative? Were we being spot on? Or are we being too optimistic on this one? Where do you land? What is your opinion, good sir? And hello, by the way.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Well, thank you for asking.
You're welcome, buddy. I mean, I've been staring at this thing now for 45 minutes. I would say this is a very different year for me to do this, because the other years we always knew we were coming in with Jimmy. We knew who our defense was. We always had Bosa coming, but one year, there were certain factors that we just knew, right?
Right.
So I would say this. I'll give you a dumb prediction here just based on looking at it on paper, but we all know everything here is going to get messy after a few weeks when you start looking at everything else, right? So
real messy. It looks good on paper, and then the NFL actually gets going and things go off the rails.
I'll make a promise. After the week 4 game, when we do this call, I'll give you my solid prediction at that point. And the reason I say that is this. If Trey Lance is our quarterback, Bears, we should win, even if he doesn't play well because of our defense.
Yes, agreed.
Seattle, we should beat. Same reason. Doesn't matter.
Agreed.
No matter what anyone says about the mystique of Seattle, they just suck. I mean, they don't even have anybody on their team that's worth even mentioning other than Metcalf, but nobody can throw him the ball now. So let's just say Seattle's a win. So assuming Trey plays decent, we're at least we're happy, but we're not like elated. Let's just say he plays good enough, right?
Right.
The next 2 games are going to tell me everything about Trey Lance, because now you're going to be in prime time 2 straight weeks, 1 on the road, 1 at home. So if he can handle a Denver defense and then handle an LA defense, neither team which he's played yet, right? He's played Seattle last year for half of a game. He'll get to play him the week before. That's going to tell me everything about our season, because when you went through your prediction, you basically had us losing most of the tough games.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So to me,
that was why I think some people viewed it as conservative, because when there was, the 50-50 shots, for the most part on those, we went the loss just to feel like it was fair, not overly optimistic.
Because if Lance can't at least put up a respectable performance to make that Denver game close, and if he doesn't go into week 4 against the Rams, where we historically in primetime games at home against the Rams beat them pretty damn well, even when we were a bad football team years back, those games right there are going to be the big thing for me. Because if you beat the Bears, you beat the Seahawks, you lose to Denver, you lose to LA, you beat the Panthers, you beat the Falcons, you lose to the Chiefs, you lose. I mean, it's like we're just a pretender at that point. I mean, we're not even beating anybody.
You are, but there's the chance that you're just a pretender for the first half of the season, because that pretender status is then reliant upon the young quarterback who is growing and hopefully hitting his stride as we get into that second half of the schedule. So I agree that it could look as if the 49ers are just winning the easy ones. It could look as if they're a team that'll sneak into the playoffs and then be no match for whomever they come up against. But if they can get into the playoffs, if they get a chip and a chair and Trey Lance hits his stride by the end of the year, now we're talking about a different team.
Yeah, we're only at week 8 right now, Rob. I'm with you, of course. No, I mean, I'm with you, right? I mean, of course, if we get a chip and chair.
That was phenomenal, Sean.
But here's the key. If you remember what I said, I think it was Tuesday when we were talking. I said the biggest key to our schedule is going to be where our bye lies.
Yes. Didn't you ask for week 9? Wasn't that what you wanted?
I said week 8 or 9. You need to have the middle. It's 17 games, so there's no middle, right? So to me, it was give me week 8 or 9. Look where it lands. Right in week 9. And after week 9,
it's gorgeous.
Just like Swan Song said, I was going to say, I wonder if anyone's going to say this if they're looking at it that way. Exactly right. Trey Lance and that staff, other than driving or flying 5 hours to Mexico City, everything else on the rest of that schedule, if we lose, it's at our own undoing. Because we're traveling nowhere. Our division games don't count as traveling. We do it every single year. It's in our nature. The Raiders game, if it means anything for the Raiders at that time, because their schedule is also daunting, they may already be out of it and just playing for will.
Right.
Week 18, you asked on the last call with our man Chris Royal why they put the birds there.
That one, it feels like it should be the Rams, doesn't it? What's your theory?
Well, it's not a theory because obviously most of these are going to be in their generated machine that they use on that. But if you remember, before we played the Seahawks a few years back in that game where we beat them to take the division.
Right, which the Dre Greenlaw stop at the goal line to end the game in Seattle.
You're right. We played the Cardinals a ton on the last game of the season. It was
That's
almost
very
like
fair. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of in their machine. But I would say the reason why I like them in that last game, I don't know if we'll necessarily be resting starters. That would be outstanding.
Oh,
but
that'd be phenomenal.
I'll assume we're not doing that.
Right.
Where's the Super Bowl this year?
Arizona.
Where was the Super Bowl last year?
LA.
Rams,
I
right?
see it now.
The only reason I say
Connect
that
those
is,
dots.
The only reason I say that is why is week 18 to be determined? Because it's always going to be flexed based on importance, right? We could be Sunday Night Football, whatever it may be. So I think they're counting on Murray and the Cardinals being legit.
Right.
And Lance, right? That's the whole thing. Lance will be the face of our team throughout the year. Is that game's going to be incredibly important. And so they're hoping that either they're fighting to get into the playoffs as the Super Bowl is in their house, or we're the ones fighting to get in as well. So I think that's actually a smart pick. And honestly, for me, I prefer that because even though the drama of the Rams was fun in week 18, God, I would sure love to possibly be looking at, a bye if we give a great season, or if we can kind of skate into the playoffs, not have to beat the hell out of our team for 13 straight weeks like we did last year.
Yes.
So I see this as a very favorable schedule. None of this will, to me, and personally, none of this is going to make me excited until I see us through week 4.
Okay.
And I see what Lance does in those 2 games.
So you're not excited. I will make up for that with my level of excitement because I looked at our opponents and I said to myself, this is a brutal schedule. It's a brutal schedule. We'll play the AFC West. We have a stacked division. It's going to be a tough one. For the brutal schedule that it is, still acknowledging that of the teams we play, it is the 5th hardest schedule according to, strength of schedule, according to the NFL. I agree with that. But given that strength of schedule, to me, this is almost the very best way it could have worked out. They have the 2 back-to-back East Coast games that allow them to stay on the East Coast. They start out easy. They get the bye in the middle. They end against the Cardinals, who are not a strong team towards the end of the year, historically speaking, but could be a game that's of relevance. They play the Raiders late, and so to your point, they may be out of the playoffs already. I look at this, and I am extremely impressed with the way that this schedule lays out. I think it presents itself in such a way that the 49ers can maximize their wins against very tough opponents.
No, I agree with you 100%. Honestly, I give you that 100%. I mean, to me, I think more important than anything on here is the fact, from basically week 7 to week 18, the only distance is Mexico City.
Yes.
Like literally, I can't make that up. Week 7 to 18. I mean, that's incredible, right?
And you just hit Chris with the same logic. He's like, I get it now. Eureka. Makes sense. By the way, I love that we finished with AZ. He and I just connected the dots with you helping us that maybe it's because the Super Bowl is in AZ. You get the 49ers in AZ on week 18. Arizona, here we come. All right, please continue.
But it's not that I'm not excited about this. I'm ecstatic. It's the Niners. Shit, dude. I love it. It's freaking May, right? So it's tough, right? But
yes, it's a long ways away.
You see Bryant Culp right here. You see the 12-5.
Yes, yeah, 12-5.
If you were to ask me right now to put my money on this season, I put it on 12-5 with the assumption that Trey Lance is legit. Because again, you heard what I said.
Assumption.
May and June is huge for Trey Lance. So if he is legit, I see 12-5 on this schedule at worst. But I will say this though, that Denver game to me is going to be a bigger game in my opinion than that Rams game for Lance, because that game is going to be hyped up for one player and one player only.
Right.
Russell Wilson.
Russell.
And who would have he beaten the week before in our division, the Seahawks coming off of that, right?
Right. They're going to play that up. Oh, it's going to be a storyline all week.
Exactly. And so the next week going into prime time again, the reason I say that is if he can play well against Denver on Sunday Night Football, everyone's talking about it because it's on TV and everywhere, right?
Yes.
So the whole week is going to be either talking about Trey Lance, oh man, he is here, or oh man, Trey Lance sucks. It's going to be one of the two narratives in the media, not us.
It does. Yeah, it does tend to go to the extremes.
So then you have Monday Night Football. There's storylines again. You got 2 and 8 days, right? So those 2 games, if he shows the world and the faithful that he can put, all he needs to do is win. If he can win those 2 games and put us at 4-0 or 3-1 at worst, if we drop the Bronco game by a field goal or something like that, we will be in great shape. I see 12-5 for sure, as long as he proves to me in those 2 games that he can handle a 60-minute game with our offense in those environments. I will be ecstatic.
We will do an official re-prediction after the first 4 games. Got to bring in a couple of comments here. Dustin Kohler, our resident Lions fan and my good friend. Rob, you're lucky you don't have to play the Lions this year.
You know what? He's right.
He's
Lions.
Right.
You know why? He's right, because every time we play the Lions, somebody has a knee injury historically on our team.
Nothing to laugh at. That's tragic. But yes, it does seem that turf, not a good thing. I also want to call out that I love the fact that week 1 is a bit of a sports weekend. Kurt here, Sneakerhead here on the channel, correctly calling out opening week, Giants at Wrigley, Niners at Soldier Field. Epic weekend. I will be there in Chicago. I'm going to have pizza with E. Kim. I'm going to be at the game at Soldier Field. And hell, I might as well catch a baseball game with the Giants kicking the Cubs' butts at Wrigley.
And if you want, I'm a huge Cubs fan, FY. My uncle was Andre Dawson's agent, so there's ties into this. But if you want for that game, let me know. One of my good friends, mom down there, season ticket holder, she sits in the 100 section. It's right there, third base side, about between home plate and third base, about 20 rows up. 2 or 4 tickets, very inexpensive, dude, so I can help you out.
I will absolutely take you up on that. Absolutely. All right. I had a couple of comments. Here we go. JT asked a question I want to clarify real quick. How many primetime games do we have? 5. We had 5.
I'm going to say this because
you think we get the one in week 18?
I mean,
Flex?
if we don't, then we suck. So
That's
I mean, to me, I see it
or we're great. Right? We could be great and rescuing players, and they decide not to do it. So
sure,
just throwing out the potential positive. Positive. Yeah. All right, one more. Daniel Martinez at Rob Schuh. The gauntlet goes from week 7 through week 11. This is where Trey will either mature and grow up to be a great quarterback, or he will flop. I can see them losing all 4 or winning 2 of 2 in that one. So week 7 through week 11, Daniel's talking about. He's talking about KC, LA, the Chargers, and the Cardinals. That is a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet divided by the bye week, which is glorious. I did have the 49ers dropping 3 out of those 4 games. I had them dropping KC. I had them dropping LA. I had them beating the Chargers and then narrowly dropping the one in Mexico City. But I feel good in that those 2 after the bye, the Niners are winning one of those at a minimum. And so I do think that this is the gauntlet and the Niners potentially go 1-3 in that stretch. Am I being pessimistic in that view?
I mean, my answer is going to go back to week 4.
Right.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest.
How's Trey Lance doing?
Because I mean, that's the toughest part about this one for a long time for us. Like, none of us know how. I mean, we all have optimism with how good he's going to be. Shit, I hope he's a Hall of Famer. I'll say that every time anyone asks me. I mean, I hope he's incredible. But this is that mind that I use. Like, I'm not going to be dumb in these predictions. I haven't even seen the guy play back-to-back games, let alone 5 before we get to that, or 6 before we get to that. But I will say this. The one key, in my opinion, that's going to hold this team together this year, regardless of how Lance plays, I'm telling you, the same thing I said two days ago. I really believe this year our defense is going to be ridiculous. I literally, if I had my chips on the table. I would not put money on this because it's too hard to predict over 17 games, 18 weeks. But I'm telling you right now, I think the defense, I don't care who you play the Rams. We held them to 10. We had them down to 7 in the fourth quarter a week. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The Chiefs, we had them 10 in the Super Bowl, and they have a worse team right now. So
I'm going to bring in a question here from Bonnie and Bosa, 49ers. Rob, can the KC or Dolphins or Bucks games get flexed in? So games can be flexed, but I don't have the rules right in front of me about which week they can begin to get flexed. After week 6, they can flex them?
15.
Oh, week 15.
Yes,
so I do think there is a way. I'll look into that, Bonnie, and I will get back to you on that. As it sits right now, the 49ers are scheduled for those 5 primetime. I do believe that you can get flexed, but I'm going to default to Sean on this one because you seem a hell of a lot more confident than I am.
Because what happens is, I mean, you guys can look this up. They have set schedules with the networks, period. So they get to plan accordingly with the way they want to do it. The NFL then takes the last quarter of the season, which is now technically not a quarter because there's 17 games, but they take the last quarter and they have freedom based on viewings, right?
Absolutely.
To be able to create their best visible packages for their best guys to be on those games.
Absolutely. They want to maximize eyeballs. They don't want those useless games where there's somebody who's out of it. Javier coming in just to be kind. I love this show more than Grant Cohn Show. I'm a fan of Grant's. He and I do a show every Friday. I'll be on there tomorrow talking about this schedule on his channel. But I do appreciate winning the little back and forth. I do appreciate the fans. That's for sure. Sean, this is a fantastic call. I'm going to have to get out of here before 6:30 tonight. And I got to hit the next one up is Bosa, who doesn't have a image in there. So we're going to see Bosa and then William Bennett to close out. But Sean, phenomenal input as always. Always appreciate your insights here, good sir.
All right, faithful. Next week.
Pleasure to have you on. I'm trying to hide the image real quick, so bear with me, Sean. I'll take you out of the stream. I just want to see, because Bosa, I don't know Bosa. I apologize. I don't know if you're a sneakerhead. I made the mistake of putting the link in the chat, and so it could be a non-sneakerhead. I got to go with audio only on that one. Let me see, Sean. I'm testing. Ooh, it worked. It worked. Sean, you're still in the stream, but I am removing you now and going in with Bosa. Thank you, Sean. All right, we are bringing in Bosa to the stream. Oh, no, it's William Bennett. Hold on, William. I tried to bring in Bosa. You're up next, William, and you're on video. We're bringing you in on video. Hold on, William. First, but let me say hello, William. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, my man, we will be right back with you. You know, give me just a little bit. Let me wrap up with Bosa and then close out, you and me, bud. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right, see you in just a sec. All right, bringing Bosa into the channel. It's an honor. It's an honor to have Bosa here with us. It's an honor and a privilege. Bosa, can you hear me? Bosa, can you hear me? You're muted at the moment. I can unmute you, but I don't want to do that if you don't know I'm unmuting you. I'll give you another second or two, and then we'd have to go to William Bennett. But that's not a bad thing. That's a phenomenal thing. Bosa, can you hear me? That's it. That's it. I apologize, Bosa. We have to take you out. It's a shame. We had Nick Bosa on the program. It was official. He just wasn't able to get his audio working. Now we bring in William Bennett to the stream. William. Whoa, that's a weird one. Here we go. William. Cheers, man. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday Eve.
Yes. How are things in DC, man? Have you guys actually started to get into spring yet? Spring just won't sprung here in Portland.
Well, we are in spring, but we're getting the off and on rainy season right now.
Off and on rain. That sounds an awful lot. Awful lot. Yes.
My daughter graduates college Saturday. Very proud of her.
Congratulations, William. What's your daughter's name so that I might congratulate her directly?
Paige Bennett.
Paige, congratulations on graduating from university. That is a huge accomplishment. This is to you, Paige. Cheers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You must be a proud papa at this moment, William.
Very proud. She did all the work. She sacrificed, worked hard, went to libraries on weekends, and she's graduating with her degree in graphic design and coding. So very proud of her.
That's phenomenal.
But let me say my little gist on the schedule and what I was listening to Sean and the others, and I do agree with different points each person had, but I think that some people may miss these points. Number one point, COVID.
COVID.
I have not heard anyone speak of COVID, and COVID can make a difference in everyone's season. So hopefully we stay healthy and we don't have to forfeit any games. Because I think COVID may rear his ugly head, even though we're transitioning back to normalcy. We're still not out of the pandemic yet. Please,
we are.
People.
Yeah, we are not. It does rear its ugly head. That's for sure. I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback, William. If you just turn down my audio coming out, that may help us a little bit. I heard someone in the chat thinking that it was Bosa's audio coming in. I do see Bosa actually is down below now. I mean, I don't know that this is actually Bosa, obviously, but I love Bonnie and Bosa. Yeah, Bosa, you're making us look bad here. Bonnie and Bosa coming in to let Bosa know, got to get on there. You got to get on there, Bosa. So yes, we will work to try and get Bosa in quickly at the end.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you nicely. We'll just throw it out there to the chat. You let us know if anything is strange with audio. It sounds good on my end, though.
Okay.
The schedule itself, when you look at this, what's the gauntlet to you? Do you see that as being week 7 to week 11? Is that the toughest stretch? Is that the 4-game stretch we got to have our eyes on? KC, LA, a break, LA again, but the Chargers.
Yeah, I definitely can see that as the gauntlet. It will tell a huge tale for Trey Lance. The factor, though, is that first 5 games, 6 games, I think we could go 5-1.
Oof, I would love that.
Reason being is I think people forgot Trey Lance actually almost beat Arizona when Arizona was the dominant team in the NFL. The reason we lost that game, if people don't remember, that there was time left on the field, and it was Josh Norman against Hopkins.
Right.
That won the game for them.
Yes. That was a tough one.
If Trey Lance actually would have got that touchdown sneak in, we would have won that game. It wouldn't even matter if Hopkins mossed Norman, but it came down to that. But we actually would have won that game. I believe if most people right now are saying that we're going to win these games off of the back of memories of Jimmy.
Right.
But you got to understand, Trey Lance brings a whole nother element to his game style.
Yes, he does.
And I believe that we're going to win games that may surprise people that they think we're going to lose. Like the Chargers game. I think Anthony Lynn is going to have Trey Lance and the 49ers well prepared for the Chargers. Because even though they may run a different playbook, he knows the player's strength. He knows the quarterback's strengths.
Right.
He literally was just the head coach. But I think the Chiefs will be a test for Lance, but I don't think it'll be as hard because I do agree with Sean that I think our defense will be phenomenal. I think they will be comparing our defense back with 19.
Yes, I do too. I think it has a chance. I think it has a chance to be even more special than 2019.
Yes, sir. That Denver game, honestly, I'm not really worried about the Seattle game because we're going up against Geno Smith. But that Denver game, the only thing that's rough about that game for me is we're going up against a quarterback we've never won against.
Yes.
And we're going up against my boy. I know you got the sauce. DJ Jones.
You know I got the sauce. You know I got the sauce. DJ Jones in the house. By the way, Chris Royal agrees with us here, saying top 3 to 5 defense. He's on board with this elite defense. I also want to take a moment, because I didn't do it at the top of the call, to call out the T-shirt, because I just watched the latest Spider-Man. Matter of fact, I had not seen any of the 3 latest Spider-Man movies with the new actor stepping into the role. Over last weekend, I caught up on all 3. I was blown away by 1 and 3. The third one for sure. That was a dope series. I really enjoyed it.
Oh man, it was electric.
Yes.
I seen Doctor Strange. It was good.
I haven't seen that one yet. No spoilers, my friend. No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil, but that Spider-Man was still better to me.
Yeah,
but maybe it's
for
because
sure.
of just remembering, all the others and seeing the other ones beforehand. But I'm waiting
Peter
for
Parker
the live
coming
action.
in. Come on, Rob.
I'm waiting for the live action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. Hopefully that's coming down the line real soon.
That'll be nice. Can't get enough of that Marvel.
Yeah. I would say I don't think Arizona is going to be as hard a test for us as it was. I'm not worried about JJ Watts, my bad.
JJ Watt, yeah.
I'm not worried about him. Arizona actually lost players and that I felt that contribute to make them deadly to us.
So you think they got weak in particular coming up against?
I do believe they got weak. I do believe we have a chance to sweep Arizona this year.
I think there is a chance of that. By the way, Chris Royal coming in to do the good deed. Smash that like button, y'all.
Yes,
Chris.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, appreciate it.
And subscribe. And subscribe.
And subscribe. My man William Bennett knows what's up. Bonnie and Bosa is all about the Marvel Universe. She says, oh my God, Rob, you need to get into the Marvel Universe. William has encouraged me, and that's what sparked the inspiration.
But yeah, I told you I've been wearing a hero shirt until our season starts.
I love it.
Miami. That's a game that's going to be big for us.
Real big.
That is going to be a big game for us.
Yes.
Because you got to realize the people that Miami is damn near baby 49ers.
It really is.
Yeah.
They're going to have a special running game.
Oh, man. And not only with that running game, then they're going to have they got Tyreek Hill. We got to be careful that our boy don't try to run some screens with Tyreek Hill against us as we use with Debo. I think you got to watch that.
I'm telling you, I am nervous. I think Mikey McDaniel comes in and does get that
He's
W.
a smart dude. He's a smart dude. He may look quirky and like kind of nerdy, but he's a smart dude. And I'm sure under his tutelage that Miami's just gonna strive.
No doubt.
I would say, I just think we're gonna do well. I think
William, what did you think of our final prediction? What did you think of 11-6? And is that conservative or is that about right?
I could see that. I could see 11-6.
Yeah.
I could also see 12-5.
12-5 feels reasonable after going through it and looking at the games and basically admitting that when it came down to a coin flip, for the most part, unless there were back-to-back coin flips, I typically went with the loss there because I didn't want to be the homer, the one that was unrealistic. I felt like I was really pretty realistic in going through at 11-5, and I defaulted to the loss. So I agree. I thought I was conservative at 11-5. I think 12-5 is not far off.
Now, look at it like this. If you look at each of those teams, and right now, say Jimmy was the starter, I think that most fans right now believe with the talent we have on the Niners, we could beat we have a chance of beating each of those teams with Jimmy.
Yes.
So if we can do that with Jimmy, imagine how big a win we would have with Trey Lance. Because I think with Jimmy, if we won those games, it would be like down to the wire. And with Trey, I don't see that.
I know you're a Trey Lance fan. I know that you're realistic as well, and that he's a young quarterback coming in to really have his first full season of starts. How many games does it take to really ramp him up? Where do you think Trey begins to hit his stride in this schedule?
I think Trey will hit his stride in this schedule. I say about the Chiefs game.
I like that, because I think that's where I was headed too. I'm thinking the ramp up to the Chiefs game of Carolina and then Atlanta. I think that's really where things are about to get cooking.
That Chiefs game is gonna push Trey Lance to a whole nother level. Not taking nothing away from Russell Wilson, not taking nothing away from just the Fields or any of these other quarterbacks
Matthew Stafford.
in the NFL. Hey, I'm not no disrespect, but I think that game that he's gonna have to play against the Chiefs and against Mahomes is gonna make him have to go deeper in his arsenal of his playing style, and it's gonna make Cal have to go deeper in with him. And I think that's when you really, really see the real Trey Lance and Kyle Shanahan experience.
Yes. I can't wait to see the Kyle Shanahan and Trey experience. That is going to be phenomenal. It does feel like this freaking schedule sets up for him to get rolling, for him to have a quality first half to the season, and then after that bye, just keep cooking.
Because I think Cal is really he's gonna give him plays, and he's gonna cater the offense to Trey. But honestly, I don't think he's really gonna use Trey. And maybe against the Rams, you'll start to see flashes. But I think it will be more of our defense that will win that Rams game than our actual offense. But by the time we get to that, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you believe, as we stated earlier in the program, that this is, at least on paper, potentially a top 3, top 5 defense?
Yes.
I love it. Please continue.
I think the biggest issue we was worried about was the corners and the secondary. I think that's what we really was wanting. Our defensive line has always been stout. We've always been able to, have a good defensive line, no matter what pieces we pushed in there. But it's been the secondary, and this is the thing that most people also have forgot. DeMeco Ryans, you got to realize, all that came from DeMeco Ryans as a rookie defensive coordinator. Now that he's actually got his beak wet, I think our defense is gonna be explosive. And I think he's already has schemes and know exactly what he wants to do, because I think he had a big hand in choosing who's been taken and what he feels he can use on his team. Because most people got to remember who DeMeco Ryans is and the style of football he used to like to play.
I'm so excited for this defense. I mean, yes, I'm very excited for Trey Lance. The transition from Jimmy to Trey, really going to be the big difference. But if we come back with an elite defense, Sean 951 Niners, Rob Schuh, if Ferret comes back and plays like 2020, then we're a number 1 defense in 2022. I think that's a reasonably fair statement there. Yeah, a little bit of optimism, but there's nothing wrong with that at this point in the offseason. Got to bring in.
I mean, you just got to understand just imagine what training camp is gonna be like. There's gonna
my bad. I hit that mute button. I didn't mean to. You were saying, imagine how training camp was gonna be. What did you say right after that, William?
There's gonna be fights, because this is the changing of the guard. You're gonna have a lot of people fighting for their jobs, for their livelihoods. And I can understand, even whoever may be cut may be picked up by another team, but you don't know where you may go. You're going to fight to be on a team that you feel has a chance to go for a ring.
Yes.
You're going to fight.
Brought in the super chat here from Jimmy J. We are celebrating Jimmy J right now. Sneakerhead here on the channel got his damn tickets to the Raiders game in Las Vegas. Just got my tickets for the Raiders game. He says section 204, row 5, doing New Year Vegas, baby. Jimmy J.
Hey, you know we're gonna have to hook up because I'm not sure what games you're going to, but if you're going to any of them that may be on the east or close to the east, we're gonna have to hook up.
No doubt, William. I am going to go to Atlanta. No doubt about that one. I'm going to go to Chicago. I'm going to be in Vegas. So I would love to link up. My question for Jimmy J is, Jimmy, did you get an extra ticket for your boy Rob? I mean, I have yet to secure mine. And so the question becomes, are we sitting together in section 204, row 5? That's the question I have for you, Jimmy J. I'll buy dinner if that's the case. All right. Oh, man, we lost William. I heard we were just getting a little echo in there. We are at the end of the show anyway. Maybe William will call back, but we do have Bosa down there, who I saw was live. We'll try and bring in the audio for Bosa. Bosa, if you're listening, I'm about to bring you into the stream. Here we go, Bosa. Bosa, you are in the stream. Can you hear me?
What up, what up, what up?
What up, Bosa? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing well. You sound less monotone than usual in the post-game pressers.
Oh, got to be a little bit more animated, right? Had a whole off season to get worked up here.
That's right. That's right. What do you think about this schedule release that we have had so far? Is this the most favorable way in which it could have played out for such a tough strength of schedule?
Hard to know that. Hard to know if it's the most favorable, but I like it. I'm actually seeing a lot more wins than most people. I'm thinking maybe 13, 14.
Ooh, 13 or 14 wins. I love the optimism. Love the optimism. Hold on, I got to bring in Jimmy J's super chat here saying, well, if you're going to be in Vegas, we need to meet up, brother. That's a fact, Jimmy. We will absolutely grab lunch, dinner, whatever, hang in Vegas. I will be at the game, no doubt. Anybody who's going to be there, please hit me up. All right, please continue. So you see 13 or 14. When you look at this schedule, what do you think are the most challenging ones? I mean, you're being you have an optimistic approach to it, which I love. Yeah. Which are the ones that really make you scratch your head and say, yeah, I think the Niners are going to kill it this year, but these are the ones that are the toughest?
I think they're going to kill it. But the tough ones are probably going to be against Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy coming in week 14.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yep.
But by then, I think we're going to have a lot of momentum, so it may not be as bad as it looks and feels. I think the Cardinals games are probably going to be the tougher ones, and I say that because it's just that Kyler Murray. He's just we just have a hard time containing those small little fleas, jumping around like Kyler Murray.
Yeah, we no longer have to contain Russell Wilson. Thank God. We're down from 4 games to 2, but we still do have the little secret squirrel in Kyler Murray.
Stafford. They're going to play their games, but I ain't worried about them. Like Kyler, he's just got that extra dimension. That worries me a little bit. But you look at this, like week 1, let's say, we got Bears. I think Shanahan's going to be juiced for this because it's like this is the game where he's got to show why he picked Trey Lance over Justin Fields.
Right.
He's going to want to prove something here.
That's a good point.
Not only is that he picked the right guy, but he's got the better team. He's got to show why. He's got to show why we picked Trey and not Justin. Right?
Yes.
So he's going to be juiced for that. You look at week 2, see, he's going to be juiced for that too. He's going to be so ready. He's going to be so anally retentive about making sure we beat the Seahawks.
Take down Pete Carroll a peg.
Exactly. He will go over that game plan 5 or 6 times, maybe more, just to make sure there's zero chance that they're going to win that game. So that's my no-doubter. Right there.
I love it.
Put money on a game. That is it. That's the Kyle Shanahan anger game right there. He's going to game plan the hell out of that.
I like that prediction.
Now Denver's one that scares me again because it's We got Russell Wilson. Now he's getting older.
He is. New team.
Not like we can't play with the Broncos. I think we can totally play with them. Our defense, like you've been mentioning, is top 3 for sure.
And you may be looking at a situation with today's news where Jerry Jeudy is suspended in week 3, right? He may not be on the field, and so not going to be as robust of a wide receiver room.
That's right. So it scares me only because it's Russell, and he just seems to do something to screw us over.
He's our kryptonite, man.
Well, every time we think we got him, he gets away, right?
Yeah, it's save for that one stop by Dre at the goal line. He seems to have our number.
You look, and the next one at the Rams is going to be another Shanahan revenge anger game. He's going to be ready.
Yeah. Oh, and the whole team is going to be fired up for that one.
Oh, yeah. Like someone was saying about he's going to be, I think you said that. Debo's going to be going off.
Yes, trucking people.
He's going to be going off. The defense is going to want to tee off on Stafford like, they're going to have a good time. Carolina, Atlanta, not worried a bit. That one's in the bag. The Chiefs, you never know.
That's
because
tough.
I think they're a different team without Tyreek Hill. I truly do.
That's a great point.
I think what we're going to see is a good team, but it's not the same team because in that Super Bowl and in the Chiefs recently, Tyreek Hill just gives them a whole nother dimension. Being able to clear out the middle when they're able to clear out the middle of the field because they're worrying about him as a deep threat.
Yes.
It makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
Tyreek Hill with a fast receiver. It's not that easy.
No. Without the cheetah, they will be a different team.
Yeah. So I think we could handle, even though that's going to be a game, I think we can handle them. I'm looking at maybe the next one at the Rams. It's going to be a little closer. We might lose.
Yeah.
But really, to me, the ones looking at this again, we're going to play the Chargers after a bye. I mean, Shanahan's going to be ready after a bye.
Right, absolutely. That's why I had him beating the Chargers. I think coming off the bye, potentially having lost to the Rams and the Chiefs, they're going to be ready.
Yeah. Arizona's going to be, that again, it's in Mexico, so we might have a shot. One scares me a little more. Saints, Dolphins, I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not worried. Tua. It's Tua.
That's true. Regardless, but Mike McDaniels could operate the whole game through the run game, right? I mean, he may keep the ball out of Tua's hands in its entirety, basically.
But you know what? The Niners, the team is based on being tough and hitting you in the mouth. So you want to play a run game against the Niners solely, I welcome that.
That's going to be tough to do.
We got the boys on defense. We got the horses on defense to make sure that your running game is not going to take over.
Yes.
So if you're going to beat us with Tua, that ain't going to happen. So
help me answer this one here. M.A. Duran coming in at Rob. What do you think the trap game is? I know we still got to summarize those last games, and I'm interested to hear your quick summary of the last 5 because I'm up against a hard deadline here. But what's the trap game?
Yeah. To me?
Yeah. What do you think that trap? When I look at this, I mean, if I'm honest, it could be week 12. It could be the Saints.
It could be. I was thinking that, but let's see. Is that at home?
That one is at home. Yep, they come back from Mexico, so they have that. Their last big travel miles.
Maybe a little too many frijoles and
potentially a little too much food down in Mexico. Living it up.
That's maybe the Raiders game only because
that's a tough one.
I think the Raiders are a lot better than people give them credit for.
All right, give me your synopsis of those last 5. What are we going to do in those last 5? What's your feeling on it?
Oh, well, we're taking the Dolphins. Tampa Bay, I think, is going to get us.
Okay, Tommy boy.
Brady's revenge game, and he's going to be motivated to prove we should have, given up Jimmy and signed him.
Yep.
So Seattle, I think we're still going to take care of them. Even though it's in Seattle, and then Washington. I mean, that could be sneaky, but I think we're going to handle it. The last game against the Cardinals, that's the one, they're going to be in the hunt. So that's going to be a real interesting one. But I think I'd say we take maybe 3 out of the last 5 at least, minimum, maybe 4.
It's a very nice home stretch for the Niners. Bosa,
Yeah.
this has been a phenomenal call. I have a hard out at
Hey.
6:30 that I have to get going. I apologize for that. I'd love to just keep chatting with you.
Peace out, man. This has been awesome. Love you, bud.
I
Hey,
appreciate
by
it,
the way,
Bosa.
man,
Thank you so much for
by
calling
the
in.
way, real quick, I was listening to you about your little skin cancer thing, and I had one of those too.
Yes.
And to let you know that I understand where you're coming from. I had one of those basal cells. That's a tough one, but luckily those things go away. They're not too big of a deal. But a little scar in the head, man. I hated that for a while.
Me too, my friend. Me too, especially being on a damn camera. That was not something I anticipated, but I appreciate that. I really do, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, take it easy, brother. Thanks, man.
Hey, you too. You know I have to bring in William Bennett just because, William, we got to close this thing out on a freaking cheers. Hold up. William, I ain't got time. We can't talk, but you know how this show has got to end, my man. I'm so glad that we got to converse, and I will see you again soon, brother. Cheers. That one was specifically for William. William, you take care, good sir. Love it. All right, this one is for the rest of you. You know how it works. I will be back on tomorrow with Jack Hammer. I'll be on Grant's program in the morning. But until then, cheers, Niner faithful. Let's get these wins.